The last stat that we just heard there about teachers not necessarily sending their own children to the school that they teach in, pretty surprising, actually. And in you, I mean, your son, you've got a son who's due in December.
Yes.
Congratulations on that. And you said, actually, the schools you teach in more recently, not so, but there was one at the beginning where you very much felt that.
Yes, I would have had to think really carefully about our choices, but it's just so sad that there's so many of us in the profession who are now feeling that this is the case.
Yeah.
And so what have you witnessed as a teacher? How long have you been teaching for?
13 years now, and luckily, as Holly says, in recent schools, I haven't witnessed an awful amount, but I have witnessed extremes, including weapons being drawn, children being beat up. But the problem now, as I see it, is that bullying is going online, and that's an area that teachers are increasingly trying to combat, but it's so difficult because it's so anonymous.
We've got some anonymous teacher opinions here. A Year 2 teacher from Derby said parents are buying phones and giving them to children, think that they're making them safe, and in some cases it's the opposite that's true. Bullying has always gone on, but now there is no escape.
No.
And you know of children who've been up till 2 and 3 in the morning who have been waiting to see whether something negative was going to be posted online.
Yeah, students are very honest with their teachers at times, and they will say that they are so paranoid that something may be being said, or that if they're not part of the online chat that's going on, that will be a cause for bullying in the future.
Is it getting worse?
I think the online presence is most definitely getting worse, as you say, children as young as Year 2, so that's kind of 8, 9-year-olds having smartphones and not necessarily having the tools, the mental tools to deal with that responsibility.
What about the teachers having the tools to deal with this? What sort of training have you had? What sort of training is there?
So when you start the profession, your first year is very much geared towards equipping you for the future. But then as new initiatives comes along, change of government, change of policy, there's so many different areas that we need to look at. It can be quite difficult for teachers to stay up to date with the current training. There is provision out there, but it's finding the time to fit it all in. Personally, I've been very lucky. The schools I've worked at, this has been at the forefront of their thinking. I've recently started a new school which is first and foremost a community, and we want the students to respect one another within that community. But in a lot of cases, it is very much down to that individual teacher to find resources, to train themselves in the modern social media platforms that students are using, so that they're aware of what could happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And Alex, you're head of the anti-bullying campaign at the Diana Award. You've had personal experience of this yourself. You were bullied at school, so something you feel very passionately about.
Absolutely, it really is. And for me, it did make me feel upset, depressed, and I can remember going home in tears quite often. And that's why at the charity we believe so much in peer-to-peer, because as a young person you spend 11,000 hours of your life at school, and we think it's the ideal time to shape those attitudes and behaviours. It's interesting what you mentioned about cyberbullying. I think for children, you very rarely is the person that's doing cyberbullying towards you a stranger. It's someone they know, so someone in their school more than often. So we want to try and target that and empower young people to stand up as well as those teachers.
To do that, you have to be in the schools. You have to have the cooperation of the schools, and the school has to acknowledge that it has an issue. Secondary teacher in the North East said, I think there's a bit of a general tendency for schools to not want to accept and not recognise how much of a problem bullying is, lest it be a black mark against them. It doesn't lead to exclusions, heaven forbid, because it would reflect on the school. It allows the bullies to continue operating. The bullies seem to have the upper hand, I would say. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think, you know, there is a real issue around schools feeling confident enough to say that there is bullying in their school. But what we found at the charity is that those schools that do prevent it are recognised in Ofsted at keeping their schools safe. And there's so many recommendations and references in Ofsted reports of our programme, Anti-Bullying Ambassadors, and that's what schools should be striving to do, because ultimately it increases well-being and academic achievement.
Well, what you've done is you've helped us put this pack together. This is our #BeKind campaigning teaching resource pack. This is not just for teachers but for parents too. You can download this on our website. Why is this good? Why is this going to help?
Because just like Alex has mentioned, sometimes all you need is a bit of inspiration, some resource, some ideas. This is perfect for schools watching this today who need a bit of video content from the likes of yourself, who need to start that discussion about speaking up and speaking out. This resource pack, which is available on the website, really is going to give some tools and some practical help to teachers.
And can I ask, as a teacher, if a parent came up and went, oh, I've downloaded this, would you mind bringing this into school? Would you be offended? Would you think, hang on a minute?
Not at all. Not at all. Teachers are always looking out for a new angle to approach things with, and Alex and I have been chatting in form times where we've got a small group together for a short period of time, short, sharp sessions. Resources like this are going to be invaluable, and I predict a lot of schools will be using this.
Thank you
I
very
certainly
much,
will.
guys.
Thank you both. Thank you very much. And thank you for your help with this as well. It's amazing. That Teachers Pack is completely free and available to download right now on the website. Even if you're not a teacher and you're a parent, you would just want to go through this at home, you should do it.